Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Assalamu alaikum, sister. I just saw your video. Am I Salafi? And being someone who's trying to follow the Quran, the Sunnah, on the understanding of the companions, the Salaf, I thought I'd respond. What I don't understand about your video, sister, is that you say you dislike the Salafis because they speak out against this individual and this group. And there's a valid reason for that. I'll explain in a minute. But what I don't get is because your video, it says you dislike Salafis because they mention the bad points of individuals instead of good points, and that it causes fitna and diversion and friction in the ummah. Now, what I don't understand then how come you just made a whole 7 to 8 minute video saying Salafis have this problem and that problem and that problem? Because if you was really trying to reduce, subtract or minimize the fitna that you perceive to be fitna, which isn't fitna, now explain, then what you would have did is when this person will send you a message saying, are you Salafi? You would have said yes, no, mind your own business, or whatever. But you just put out a whole video to millions of Muslims and non-Muslims saying that I don't like these type of Muslims because of this problem, that problem. So ain't you guilty of what you think Salafis are doing? But sister, the truth is what Salafis are doing and what you're doing is two different things. See, the scholars like the Kabara ulama from Saudi and Riyadh, known as the Leginar or the Committee or so forth, and the four alims that passed away recently, Albani, Ibn Baz, Sheikh Mukmel, Sheikh Uthaymeen, and people that study underneath them and push out their works and so forth. Like, the reason why they speak out against this group or this person is not because they're sitting around all day and they've got nothing to do, they've got spare times on their hands, so they think, just pick on this individual, or pick on this individual, or this group, because I'm bored, you know? The reason why they do this is because these people had memorized the Quran. They memorized the explanation of the Quran, they memorized the different books of Hadith, and so forth. And they love Allah, and these people are worshippers. They love Allah, they love His messengers, and they love the companions, the Salaf. And they love this deen. And they praise the people who call to this deen correctly, and they dispraise the people who insult, who call to other than what the Prophet was on. And the reason why there's so many people being talked about not to take knowledge from in this day and age is very simple. And they're not the origins of why there's so many people that are being spoke about not to take knowledge from. It's because of a hadith of the Prophet, where the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, not me, not the scholars of Saudi Arabia, not the Salafis that are around today. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that my ummah, the Muslims, will split into 73 sects. All of them will be in the hellfire apart from one. Let me say that again. The Messenger of Allah, who was not a liar, who's my prophet and your prophet, he said that my ummah, the Muslims, they will split into 73 sects. All of them will be in their hellfire apart from one. Now, the Muslims that were listening to him at that time, they didn't say, when the Prophet said that, okay, Prophet, I'm going to come back tomorrow or next week and hear the rest of the, the hadith or whatever, they were concerned. So right there and then, they said to the Prophet, who will be the saved sect? And he said, what I and my companions are on today. So they asked that question, they could follow it, because the 73 sects are going to be the fire, and only one, is going to go straight to Jannah and not be punished for their deviancy or their bid'ah or whatever. They wanted to be on the straight path, because Muslims don't go to hellfire. Allah doesn't put people in hellfire for no reason. He either puts them in hellfire for sin, yeah, or for bid'ah. Basically, sin, smoking, drinking, zina, or this that, or worshipping Allah in a wrong way. You know, uh, good luck charms, zodiac signs, praying to other than Allah, praying to the Prophet, or whatever. You know. So what happens now is you have the Quran, you have the Sunnah, and the way of the Salaf, the companions. Now you said about this thing that uh, try to make it sound like there's a million and one different ways to understand Islam. No, the Prophet didn't come with. Allah didn't reveal two Qurans or two Sunnahs. You know, when it comes to the belief of the Muslims, the Aqidah is one. And even in matters of difference of opinion, you know, it says when a scholar makes a scholar, I'm not talking about any Tom, Dick, and Harry who decides to make a tape and then put shake on it. A scholar makes a decision, and he gets it right, so he gets two reward. When he gets it wrong, yeah, he gets one reward for his effort. That's a scholar, not just any Tom, Dick, and Harry. So it proves that if two people can come to a conclusion on something, and they have different opinion, one of them is right and one of them wrong. Not both going to be right. So, you know, there's one Quran, there's one Sunnah, and there's one way of the companions. That's it, you know. And basically, you know, Islam doesn't come with, you know, all these different beliefs in Allah, all these different beliefs in the Prophet. No, it's one way. You see what I'm saying? So basically, to say that, you know, that there's many different other ways to understand Islam, this is incorrect, because that would mean that, you know, people who believe that suicide bombing is permissible, you know, because there is no direct, correct way to understand Islam, then they're entitled to that belief. But they're not, because the Prophet said, you know, whoever kills a soul unjustly, they will be in hellfire forever. They will be in hellfire doing the same thing again, and again. You know. Also, if what you're saying is true, you know, that you can believe in Islam in any way you want to, or you can just choose which way you want to understand Islam. People who say you don't have to pray, you don't have to, you know, wear the hijab, you know, you don't have to go to bed, yet they would be valid in Islam, and we know this is false according to the Hadith. So basically, the reason why these scholars, like I said, like the Kabar ulama, you know, the Albani, Ibn Baz, Uthaymeen, Sheikh Mukbil, and their students and the people that follow them underneath and so forth, speak out against this individual is when this person says I'm a Muslim and this is halal, you know, or this is haram. And it's only logical that as time goes on, like the Prophet said, you know, the more of these 73 sects are going to be appearing. So therefore, every time someone shoots up their heads and says this is halal or this is haram, and it's not according to the Quran, the Sunnah, and the way of the Salaf, then the scholars, they don't just say this is haram. They bring you, Allah said, the Messenger said, the companions did, and that's what you'll notice. Do you know with Salafis, yeah, like whenever they speak about something, they say this is haram or this is that. They bring you evidence all the time. And that's what I'm trying to say. Nowadays with Islam, you've got two extremes. The Muslims that have gone, you know, to the extreme right, suicide bombing, kill every kafir, you know what I'm saying? Less non-Muslims have no rights, straight to right. And the Salafis bring the dalil and expose them. But now you have ones to the left, like the people who mentioned Hamza Yusuf, like though, you know, he was a well-known Sufi, you know, and it's known what Sufis get up to and so forth, you know. Like these people say, you know, it's okay, you don't have to wear hijab. Hijab is just a barrier. You don't have to actually wear hijab. You know, Islam is in my heart. All of this stuff to the left, you know, all this is nasheeds with Islamic with musical instruments is halal. All this stuff is permissible. Everything is permissible as long as you have a good intention in your heart. You know, you don't have to wear hijab. You don't have to grow your beard. You know, so you don't have to pray. All this stuff. You know what I'm saying? So the reason why I said you see the Kabar ulama and these scholars and so forth and all these people speaking against so many people is because rather than follow the Quran, the Sunnah, and the understanding of the Salaf, the companions, yeah, they want to either make everything completely haram or everything completely halal. And the people who take the middle course are the people from the Quran, the Sunnah, and the Salaf. So you'll see our scholars were talking about Bin Laden and all these other extremists 10 years ago, before, 9/11, before like any of these things, talking about suicide is wrong, killing yourself is wrong, blowing yourself up is wrong. And you saw them like years ago, before all this music is halal and all these Muslim concepts and stuff like this, speaking out against this years ago. You know what I'm saying? That, you have to, inshallah, pray your 5 times, pray, hijab is wajib, the bed is all the time. Because they've been doing it from the time of the people after the companions up until today. So therefore, if they leave around the lackness and music is halal, nasheed with musical instruments halal, no hijab is halal, you don't have to go to bed, then they stop speaking out against them. If they stop saying that suicide bombing is permissible and killing the non-Muslims for no reason is permissible, and that non-Muslims don't have no right, we'll leave them alone, inshallah. But until then, we won't stop.